Hi, ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders. Welcome to another episode of Weekly Forex Outlook with Chart Engineering Pro. We really appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video, and we do not take it for granted at all. This happens to be the very first episode of the Weekly Forex Outlook with Chart Engineering Pro for the year 2026, and we'd like to wish you a happy new year and a prosperous one. It's our prayer that this year shall be successful and very profitable for all of us. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel or you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content we post here. And if you find value with what we share here, be sure to like, drop your comments, share your views, and share this video to your fellow traders or anyone who would find this information useful. We'll also drop the link to our Telegram group where we'll be sharing updates as the week unfolds. And without wasting much time, let's have a quick recap of last week's setups discussed in our previous video before we dive into next week's analysis. Stay tuned. Last week we had this setup on UK oil or Brent crude oil, where we were expecting a lower high formation for us to get a selling opportunity to the downside. And we had a lower high formation, and this is how it turned out. So as price pulled back, it gave us a head and shoulder formation on a 4-hour or the 3-hour time frame. So our entry should have been at the retest of this neckline, the neckline of this head and shoulder, and we were supposed to target the TP, the very first TP we have here. So we're not able to catch this trade, and we missed out on this trade. And should price pull back to the entry, we would take the entry once again and with the same SL and target this TP we have here. By looking at the current tensions and the current tension between US and Venezuela, we might have some impact on on crude oil. So let's be on the lookout for that as well. So this is USDJPY. So USDJPY, we had this set up from I think two previous episodes, and we got our entry, and we were expecting price to pull back into the area of interest and give us a confirmation. So this was the confirmation. The confirmation was this 4-hour bullish engulfing candle here, and price actually shifted structure on the 4-hour, which we expected that we're going to get a pullback to retest this structure for us to get another entry to take the buys to the upside to complete this potential crab pattern that we have here. So let's look at the economic calendar for the coming week. We have on Monday we have an ISM manufacturing PMI. Tuesday is going to be an Italian bank holiday, and Wednesday we're going to have the AUDCPI during the Asian session, and later in the day we're going to have the ADP non-farm employment change and ISM services PMI for the USD and job openings for the USD. Thursday morning we're also going to have CPI for the CHF, and then later in the day is going to be the unemployment claims for the USD. It's actually an NFP week, so on Friday we're going to have the unemployment change and unemployment rates for CAD, and then the NFP for USD, which is happening at the same time on Friday. And later after the NFP, we're going to have the prelim consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So this is the high impact news you should be looking out for the coming week. Let's see what we have for the week. This is DXY, and so for DXY, last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back to this very first area of interest to give us some selling confirmations. But currently looking at the momentum price has in the zone, we might likely violate this zone and then move to the previous zones we had above, where we were anticipating that price was going to retrace to for us to get selling opportunities to the downside. So going into next week, we might continue buying into these areas of interest for the coming week. But if we're able to get a reversal pattern in this zone, then we would still look out for the sell around this zone to the downside. So we are on the long term, we are bearish on USD on DXY, but then price has to retrace back into these areas of interest. So you can be looking out for some day trades to see price reach these regions before we look out for our selling opportunities to the downside for DXY. This is Euro USD. So last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest and give us some buying confirmations. And looking at what DXY is going to do, we might likely violate this zone. So we are looking forward to a deeper pullback into this very first zone, this second zone we have here, or this third zone we have here. So going into next week, we'll be looking out for more bearishness than bullishness for the coming week. Nevertheless, if we get a 4-hour structure shift, since we are still in an area of interest, if we are able to get a 4-hour structure shift here, if we get a 4-hour candle break above this and we get a retest and we get something like an US head and shoulder, then we might likely continue to the upside. But then the probability of we going high from here, it's a bit low. So as a day trader, or if you're a day trader, you should be looking out for selling opportunities to the downside to any of these two zones we have below here. This is GBPUSD. So for GBPUSD, we'll be looking out for a deeper pullback. So we are looking for a deeper pullback into this zone, this first zone, and continue buying to complete this D leg of the triangle formation we had been looking out for. Or price might pull back a bit deeper into the second zone we have below before we can see some bullishness come into GBPUSD. So if you're a day trader or an intraday trader, you should be looking out for some sales to these very areas we have below. Price would be considered bearish if we're able to break this zone and continue to the downside. But until then, we are bullish or looking for a continuation to complete this D leg for the triangle correction. This is USDCHF, and USDCHF has this huge deep crab pattern we are looking out for, which is here to complete. So going into next week, looking at how DXY might gain strength, we might see price pull back or go a bit higher into this zone, or should price move into the second zone, we'll still be interested in looking for the sells to the downside. Nevertheless, if we drop to the 4-hour time frame, we are having a possible double top formation. So should price give us a break, a 4-hour break here, and give us a retest, we can take a low risk sell on USDCHF, targeting the target we have below right here. But then looking at DXY strength, this will be our target. But looking at DXY strength, it's likely price will pull back a bit deeper into the zone before we can get some reversals to the downside. So let's be on the lookout for that. So we're looking out for a deeper pullback into the zone before price falls to the deep crab path PRZ we have been looking out for a very long time. We also have here AUDUSD. So for AUDUSD, we're also going to look out for a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. Should price pull back into this first area of interest and give us buying confirmations, we'll look for buying opportunities to the upside. Should it pull back a bit lower into the second zone we have here, we'll still be interested in looking for the buying opportunities to the upside. So these are two targets we'll be looking out for. Should price give us some bullish confirmations to the upside. Until then, we'll be looking out for sales. If you're a day trader, you can look out for sales into these areas of interest we have below. We also have here NZDUSD. For NZDUSD, we are, just as we saw on DXY, we are likely going to see a pullback into this zone, this first zone, and look for buying opportunities, or price might pull back a bit deeper to the second zone we have below. So we are bearish on NZDUSD for the coming week. Should we get something like a possible right shoulder formation, we can look out for sales from here to the downside. So let's be on the lookout for the selling opportunities on NZDUSD for the coming week. We have here EURGBP. So last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest to give us selling confirmations. Price actually pulled back, but we didn't get any clear entry opportunity for this sell. So going into next week, we'll be looking out for this pullback, a possible lower high formation right here. We'll look out for a possible lower high formation into this zone, or should we get a lower high formation anywhere from this zone to this area or back into the area of interest and give us selling confirmations, we'll still be glad to look out for selling opportunities to the downside. But if price pulls back somewhere here and gives us some selling confirmations, we'll be glad to take that to the downside to our previous targets that we had. So we are bearish on EURGBP for the coming week. This can only shift or be considered bullish if price is able to break above this zone and then continues to the upside. Until then, we are very bearish on EURGBP. We also have here GBPAUD. So GBPAUD, we're looking out for a possible lower high formation here, and price is, due to the holidays, we had some consolidation. So going into next week, for us to consider this bearish or for us to look for selling opportunities, we'll wait for a daily candle break below the zone. Should we get a daily candle break below this daily structure, we'll wait for a possible pullback into the zone once again and look for selling opportunities to the downside. So these are various targets we have for GBPAUD. Should we get the bearish momentum for that, we are only going to consider it bullish if we get a daily candle break above this zone and look for buying opportunities to the upside. Until then, we are very bearish on GBPAUD for the coming week. We also have here EURNZD. So EURNZD, we're looking out for a possible head and shoulder formation, and currently price has pulled back, give us a momentum back into the right shoulder, the possible right shoulder zone we're looking for price to retrace from. So going into next week, for us to consider this bearish, we would have to wait patiently for a daily candle break below the zone to give us a confirmation that we want to go bearish, because daily is giving us some bullishness right here. Even though we are looking out for sales, the daily structure is looking more bullish than bearish. So for us to consider the bearish side, we have to wait for a daily candle break below this zone or even below the second zone, account for a pullback, or let's say a possible right shoulder for this, for us to look for the selling opportunities to the downside. So the other alternative is price can also pull back. Price can also pull back, hit this zone we have here, and then can give us some bullish confirmations and continue to the upside. So we are going to wait patiently to see how price reacts within this zone, or wait for patiently for price to clear this daily structure before we consider the bearish side of things for EURNZD. We have here AUDNZD. AUDNZD is extremely bullish now on the weekly perspective, monthly perspective, daily perspective is extremely bullish. So going into next week, we'll be looking out for a possible pullback into this very first area of interest, look for buying opportunities to the upside, or should price pull back a bit deeper into the second zone we have below, we'll still be patient, and then we'll still be glad to look for buying opportunities in the second zone we have below. This can only be invalidated if we get price to break the second zone and clear the structures we have here before we consider this bearish. Until then, we are extremely bullish on AUDNZD for the coming week. So these are the targets. These are the targets we have for AUDNZD. So this is gold. This is the daily time frame for gold. We have this crab pattern we're looking at for previous week. From the previous weeks, this is the pattern. This is the X. This is the A. This is the B leg. The C leg. And we're looking forward to the D leg for this pattern. And as we can see now, gold is currently in an area of interest where we would like to see some reversal patterns or some bullish confirmations from here to the upside. So should we get the bullish confirmations within this zone, we'll take the buys from here to the upside. Or should price pull back a bit deeper into the second zone we have below, we're going to look out for the buys from there. So dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, We almost had this inverted head and shoulder formation. Last week we were anticipating that price was going to shift this forward structure here, and then we are going to get a pullback or a possible higher low formation or a possible right shoulder, and we look for buying opportunities to the upside. So as you can see, we didn't break above it on the 4-hour time frame, but if you go to the 2-hour time frame, we actually had the shift on the 2-hour time frame. So going into next week, we have to look out for a possible break of this high. Should we get a 4-hour candle close above this 4-hour structure, or should we break this 4-hour structure and come for a pullback, or come for a retest of the neckline, or come for even a deeper pullback into the zone? And again, we'll still be glad to look for buying opportunities to the upside to continue to complete the crab pattern we have been looking at for from the previous weeks. So we are bullish on gold, and the structure that is developing here is very nice, and then we will have to be patient to see or wait for the confirmations before we can engage the trade to the upside. So we are very bullish on gold for the coming week. So this is S&P 500. So S&P 500, from the previous weeks, we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this very first area of interest to give us buying confirmations here. So for us to consider this buying confirmation, we have to wait for this 4-hour structure shift. We have to wait for this 4-hour structure shift. We have to wait for price to break above this or close above this structure with a 4-hour candle, and then for a pullback and then continue to the upside. But looking at how price is developing, we might pull back a bit deeper to the second zone below. We might pull back into the second zone before we might see some bullishness from here to the upside. So let's be on the lookout for that on S&P 500 for the coming week. We also have here NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, we're looking out for this possible harmonic pattern formation, which is I think a butterfly pattern, and we're looking out for a possible higher low formation to give us a buying confirmation to the upside. So for us to be bullish, for us to consider bullishness on NASDAQ, we have to get a 4-hour structure shift here, just as we saw on S&P 500. Should we get a 4-hour structure shift and break above this, we come for a possible higher low formation, then we continue the buy to the upside. Should price also pull back a bit deeper back into the zone, the previous area of interest we had, we'll still be looking forward to buying opportunities from this zone to the upside. So we are still positive, or we are still looking out for this possible butterfly pattern formation on NASDAQ. We have here US30. So US30 has actually reacted strongly from this area of interest, and we are looking for it to see some buying momentum to continue or to hit these various targets we have above here. So for us to consider this bullish, we are waiting for this 4-hour structure shift. We are waiting for this for a 4-hour structure shift above this the structure point we have here. Should we get a 4-hour structure shift here, we get a possible higher low formation, then we look for buying confirmation to the upside. So we are very bullish on US30. This can only be violated, or this can only be bearish, if we are able to violate or break this zone and come for a retest and continue to the downside. Until then, we are extremely bullish on US30 for the coming week. We have here the German 30. The German 30 or DAX 30 is extremely bullish now. So going into next week, this is what we'll be looking out for. We're looking out for a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. Look for buying confirmations to the upside. Should price pull back a bit deeper to the second zone we have below, we'll still be glad to look out for buying opportunities to the upside. This can only be violated if we break this zone and look for a possible pullback and then continue to the downside. Until then, we are extremely bullish on German 30. This one is a bit messy, but let's see. This is France 40 and France 40 or FRA 40. A couple of weeks ago, we were looking out for this harmonic pattern formation, and prices, giving us the bullish momentum we're looking out for. So going into next week, we are looking forward to a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. Look for buying opportunities to the upside and continue the bullish momentum. Should price pull back to the second zone below, we look for buys and continue to the upside. If we are able to pull back all the way to this zone here, we'll still be glad to look for buying opportunities. So this can only shift extremely bearish if we break the zone, account for retest, and then continue to the downside. So we are very bullish on FANS 40 for the coming weeks. So this is also Australian 200, the Aussie index. It's also extremely bullish. It's actually reacted from a monthly area of interest, and it's still giving us some bullish structures both on a daily and 4 hours. So it's expedient of us to be wise of us to look for buying opportunities to the upside. So going into next week, we will look for a possible pullback into this area of interest, this very first area of interest. Look for buying opportunities to the upside, or wait for price to pull back a bit deeper to the second zone below, and then we look for buying opportunities to the upside. So these are various targets we have for the Australian 200 for the coming weeks ahead. We are very bullish on Australian 200. This can only shift bearish if we clear this zone and we come for retest and continue to the downside. So then we are bullish on Australia 200. So finally, for the indexes, we have JPN 225 or the Nikkei 225. So last week we were anticipating that price was going to pull back into the area of interest we have here, but price never made its way here. So going into next week, if we get a pullback into this area of interest we have here, we'll look for buying opportunities here and continue to the upside. So these are very immediate targets we have, and then the extreme targets we have is about here. Should price still make its way back into this zone, we'll still be looking out for the buys to the upside. So let's be on the lookout for that. So those who are crypto enthusiasts or those who are into crypto, the following are for you. We have here the total crypto market cap. We shared this setup on episode 20, so we're going to drop the link in the description so you can refer to that and see what we said about the total crypto market cap and then what was developing. So in the previous episode, we stated that if we get a 3-month candle breaking below this if we get a 3-month candle break below this structure point, then we should be worried about the bullish run ending, or we should be a bit concerned about the bullish cycle coming to an end. But luckily for us, the December candle, which was the last 3 months candle, didn't close below this structure point. So it's still giving us bullish sentiments for the entire crypto market cap. So we would like to look out for possible reversal patterns or some formations right here in this zone. So should price pull back into this zone we have here and give us some bullish momentum to the upside, then we would be looking out for more bullishness in the entire crypto market, or the bullish cycle is going to continue from there. So let's be on the lookout. So we are anticipating a possible pullback into this zone and then look for buying opportunities to the upside. So if we go back to the 3-month time frame, there was a similar formation. I think that one is on BTC, so we're going to look at that from the next setups we have. So we go to episode 20, go back to episode 20, we're going to drop the link in the description and see what we said, the details we gave for the total crypto market cap. So we have here BTC, and BTC has a similar setup as we had or we saw on the entire crypto market cap. So we're going to look for a possible pullback into this zone, look for buying momentum, and continue the buys to the upside. So we are still looking for the bullish side of things for BTC. Should price break below, or should we get a monthly candle break below these structures here, or a 3-month candle break below, then we're looking out for possible reaches and look for some downside opportunities. But until then, we are still very bullish on the crypto market. So look out for these opportunities on BTC, or these bullish opportunities on BTC. And we have here Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin Cash is extremely bullish now. It's giving us a nice crab pattern formation, which we have this as the X. This is our X, this is our A, this is the B, the C leg, and then the D leg. So going into next week, we're looking out for a possible pullback into this very first area of interest before buying opportunities to the upside. So this potential reversal zone, or should price pull back a bit deeper, we'll still be looking out for the buys to the upside. And this can only shift bearish if we clear this zone or clear this structure we have here, and then come for a pullback and then continue to the downside. So then we are extremely bullish on Bitcoin Cash for the coming week. And if you are also into hodling, or if you are a long-term investor, and I think you should look at XLM. So XLM, as we can see, is currently reacting. It's developing a possible harmonic pattern, and which is very bullish. So this is the X, this is the X, this is the A, this is the B, this is the C leg. We are looking for the D leg to continue. So if you are a long-term investor, you are into DCA, you can look for it. You can start buying. This is a very good area for you to start buying. Where prices currently is a very good zone for you to start buying, and the price it will likely head towards these targets we have here around 0.64, 0.79, and then around $1.24. And if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see a possible structure shift. After price hit the area of interest, we can see a possible structure shift here. So the daily has already shifted structure here. Should we get a possible pullback or a higher low formation somewhere here, or should price even pull back a bit deeper and give us a clear or nice reversal pattern within this zone, then you should expect more bullishness for XLM. And if you've been able to stick through to the end of this video, I really appreciate you for your time, and I will encourage all of us to apply proper risk management to our trades, trade safe and sound. And I'll drop the link to the Telegram group where we'll be sharing updates as the week unfolds. So I'll catch you guys on another episode. Don't forget to like, drop your comments, and share your views. Take care and have a wonderful time. Bye bye.